Hello YouTubers, welcome to Intune Training series, and this is the part 3 series, meaning we also have other 2 parts prior to this, and also another 4 more series is gonna come up. And please do check out the description of this video, and you could find the part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6 and part 7, and we will be concluding with part 7 of the entire Microsoft Intune training. And that being said, within this lecture we will be focusing more about the Microsoft Intune enrollment for Android devices. So when I say Android devices, there could be company owned and personal owned devices. So we would be working on that, and also we would be creating the configuration profiles and compliance policies, and how to enroll a bring your own device. And these are the common things that we are going to learn within this lecture. That being said, if you're visiting for the first time, I request please to subscribe to my channel and click on that bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I uploaded any new video to you. And also do comment as a questions, or if you like this video, please do comment and share your experience or share your doubts so that we could answer them. And also we will be working more and more on Intune upcoming series. And thank you for watching this. Please do check out other video link which we have discussed in the part 1 about the designing and the planning side. We did talk about that, so please do check out that specific link also, where you could use as a template to continue for your project for planning and designing of Intune to introduce your company or for everyone joining. So here we talk a little bit on Android enrollment. So we know that from yesterday's or the previous session, we can recall that Android devices can be managed with the 2 different flavors. One for the Android for work, or we also call it as Android enterprise offering. Other one would be the Android device administrator. So DA initially it was started, but later point what happened? They taken out this. Yeah, they have taken out this DA method, and now we're only focusing on the Android enterprise offering, which is especially there are different profile configurations we have. That's a 4 different profile configuration. I hope you can recall. So these 4, out of these 4, these last 3 are corporate, right? And the first one is a personally owned device, meaning it's nothing but you bring your own device concept. Okay, so now today we are going to do these concepts like bring your own device as well as the corporate owned. So with this, even the today's morning's question also gets cleared. So here, what exactly the personally owned device is? It's nothing but you bring your own device, meaning the device owns by you. So you can have your corporate as well as your for example, let's say these are Outlook, example Outlook, and it can be here in the personal profile side, Facebook or Twitter or whatever the applications you can have here different applications, and you can secure them with the help of maybe app protection policies, so that the data cannot be transferred, or maybe you can apply some kind of rules saying uh, additional security should be applied for these applications by encrypting the data, and also you can put some kind of additional password when you're opening your Outlook as a company application. So such things you can put it uh, for the applications that are pushing from a corporate side. Okay, that's for the personal devices. Coming back to the other 3, we also talked about very similar to this, but the device ownership will be owned by corporate. In this case, the device owns by corporate. You can have your personal as well as your corporate, meaning you're just entertaining the user to use similar as bring your own device concept, but the device is owned by company. So you just hand it over to the end user. Hey, use this device for your personal things as well as for your corporate applications, and you will not compromise on the security point of view. So in both the cases, you would actually see the lock symbol on the corporate applications. You'll see a lock on every application. Okay, and
So it's one and the same, but major difference if you ask, here you can only wipe the company applications, not personal applications. In this case, you can even reset the entire phone also. That's possible in this case. Okay, that is the second case. Okay, we also talked about the third option, which is fully managed, meaning in that corporate device, this is ideally we will give this kind of devices to the end users if it is a corporate device. Let's say if a corporate device, it actually meaning is this. Okay, so what we do is in this device there will not be any manufacturer applications or Google specific applications. We just give them a plain device along with only the applications that are approved from your company, and you will not have any log symbol on the corporate application, and you can fully manage this device. So similar thing can be done for the last one, which is a dedicated, meaning it doesn't need actually a kind of user also. It's a simple automatic logon. It might not need even a major password security, all of that, because it meant for a different purpose, like digital signing or ticketing or printing, inventory management kind of tools you would be using. So we are not going to do this in a live environment, but we would be doing all these three. Okay, so if anybody is not understand in within this slide, my intention was to explain at least you need to take it out as there's a personal devices and corporate devices. Corporate devices has a three options. Out of that, the first option is very similar to the personally owned device. Okay, that's what I wanted to express within this slide. So let's move to the next slide, which explains the same thing, my friends. So how to learn is, the first one is always go to first option is this, which is a personal owned devices, or the uh, one second, yeah, or the bring your own device concept. Other three are the corporate devices. So the learning process cross, like first is this, and then go here corporate owned devices, and then go to the corporate fully dedicated, and that's how you can learn. Okay, so now let's go to the view. How, I mean, because I'm going to show you on a physically on a device, on my Android devices, how it looks like, but just to give you in a screenshot wise, so that you can easily identify what is the expected behavior or expected icon views. So you can see here, you will have in a bring your own device concept, or with the work profile in a corporate device, you'll have the lock symbols on the corporate applications, right? And these two are will be separated, or it will be on a separate window. Coming back to the fully managed, you'll not have any lock, and you'll not have any personal applications. You only have the Google Play Store that is coming from your company. And coming back to the dedicated, fully dedicated, this is again with the single purpose. We will be using for some kind of applications to just to sign in. This is how it looks like. Okay, now if I take it all of these slides, it actually comes into a different concept, which we are anyway we are going to learn it. But if you look at it in just to give you a high level idea, bring your own device. What we're talking is, in when you will be encouraging the end users to use their personal devices, they would actually have to enroll by installing something called a company portal application. So company portal application must be manually installed from a Google Play Store by the end user, and then the required applications will come up once he's signed in, and the privacy statement, all of that, they must have to be accepted, and the corporate applications must be encrypted. That would be automatically done, uh, and you would see the briefcase icon also. Okay, you can do only the wipe here concept. Okay, so let's actually try first with the uh, bring your own device concept, then we would move to the other. Okay, but for other these three of the cases, you would actually using a scanning method to enroll to a corporate device. Okay, that being said, let's also do some configuration from the enrollment point of view. So you need to go to the Google Android, and then from the enrollment, that is Android enrollment section, you can click on it. So you guys also know that this is one other option. You also have Enroll devices here. You can also go from here also. One and the same. It's just the hyperlink. But we are trying to learn by platform for Android now. So here is the enrollment option. So
Apart from these enrollment options from Android, Microsoft recently introduced in 21 December or November between two other options which are called corporate owned user associated devices, or this is basically open source based project based enrollment profiles, one with the user based, other one with the user less. So the major difference is these are the open source specific OS, and this comes on those devices. So it gives, it's another type of, just consider for now as the type of OS and where we wanted to manage them. So that's where, because these type of devices are increasing in the market, so Microsoft come up with this enrollment options also. So there are two types. One would be the with a user, and other one would be the user less. It's nothing but the kiosk specific, you could use it. So these two things I have actually explained very well in the other video, because during this creation of video it was not there, and these are in a preview state also at this point of time. And my friends, for your information, these are not very much used at this point of time, and it may take maybe 2-3 years, let's say, maybe 2025 or maybe 2024 onwards, you might see an increase in these kind of devices utilizing. But till that time you might not see more devices, but that's okay. I have already made a video. You could check on that, which is in this description of this video. So let's discuss the topic for enrollment profiles that we have been learning.
for the enrollment, I just have to explain here few things to you technically. So as we talked earlier, Android device enrollment, if somebody was looking into that, it can be here, but it is closely nobody is using in any of the company, as Google also recommends to use the Android for work or the enterprise method. Okay, so we are not going to discuss this now. Again, the rest of the things we talked about how to learn, and these are currently grayed out because we need to configure this only works when you actually link up one account of which is Google account or maybe a Gmail kind of account. So what we do is, we actually as a company, we would create some account in a Google. Okay, so with that account, what we do, we will link up that account here. So let's say I wanted to purchase maybe Adobe application, or which may work on a corporate devices, or maybe a Slack kind of application or some other application. So what we do is, the purchasing program will happen from here, and that applications will be pushed to based on the profiles that we have. So these are the corporate, and here if you see here, this is the bring your own device or personal devices. So we would push it once we purchase the applications here to these devices.
Now let's try to configure Google Manage Play. So when you click on that Google Play or Manage Google Play, it actually opens a new window. So within this window, we would be actually configuring the our Google account. So as we just talked about it, so we would be entering the Google account details. So this could be your company based account. So I'll just simply click on agree and then launch my account. So in my case, I've already logged in with a Google account within the same browser. That's why it's gonna automatically log in. Otherwise it will ask you to sign in. So in my case, it's just automatically logged in, and then it is gonna actually prompt for the business name. So you can give your business name, for example, your company name called maybe back whatever the company name, And also there are two things that needs to be given here. One would be the data protection officer and EU protective or EU specific representative in case of the data complaint specific. So those things must have to be given by uh, you so that they can reach out in case of any complaints issues. But honestly, they are not going to reach you. But it's just uh, records purpose or auditing purpose or compliance purpose, they must have to maintain the data. So in this case, you're gonna prompt it to enter all these details, and you must have to enter all these details mostly these details will be given in my based on previous experience and the complaints manager details and their phone number, proper working phone number. So in case something goes wrong, they might reach them. So once you enter all of this stuff, simply agree and then complete that registration. That's gonna come up here, and simply this is gonna set it up the account for you. That's how it's gonna work for you.
If I have already done some kind of applications for these profiles, okay, then the applications will, we need to configure our policies for Android devices, one for configuration as well as the compliance policies, right? So these things, so what we have done is we are trying to we just scoped for the Android enrollment profiles for these things, okay, corporate as well as the personal devices. And now let's configure the required profiles. So in my case, complaints profiles is the first thing that we normally do it, right? This is how we have done for Windows devices also. Same thing, we're going to do it here. Corporate, or are you doing for Android enterprise or DA? So in our case, it's just for enterprise, right? You remember, right? Why? What is the difference between these two and where it is coming? These two are coming from here, my friend. If you remember, we were talking about one is this, other one is this. So that's a profile. This compliance policy that you're trying to create is for these things or these things. Again, when you try to create within this compliance profile, if I select as an enterprise, again, two things will should come up, because if you remember, we were talking about one for the bring your own device, other one is a corporate, right? So two option, I should be able to get it. Sorry. Yeah. So now here, one for the personal owned, other one is the corporate devices. Meaning, if I example, in an example case, if I choose as a company devices, meaning it can apply this policy for type of enrollment 2, 3, and 4, meaning corporate owned with a work profile or fully managed and dedicated. These three scenarios, this single complaints policy uh, can monitor the complaints, right? And if I choose this personally owned, it just monitors for work profile. Clear? So I'm going to do it for the first thing for personal owned devices. So in this also, the presentation or the demo, we will go with the personal first. Then once this is done, along with the applications and the complaints policies, and then we will jump to the corporate devices. Okay, so Android Enterprise, personally owned. I'll just give here personally owned. So again, these are the same, almost the similar complaint settings that we have. So let's go few of them. So this is the Defender configuration settings, which is a high-low configuration, and device health. If the device is rooted, you can block it. Okay, Google Play Protect is definitely required. Any application that should be Google Play protected. Example, for the security purpose, they would monitor all the applications that are coming from a Google Play. That can be configured. And also you have the device properties, the minimum and the maximum version. Let's say your devices are, maybe you can configure here minimum as 8.0 example, meaning Google Android Enterprise Google Android versions has a versions. Google Android OS has a version like 6, 7, 8. Now current version is, if I correctly remember, it's 11. So anywhere from 8 to 11, you can, minimum and maximum you can put it. So 8 is an older version, but I have one device with the 8 and other one with the 9 or 10, and other one is with the 11. So we can, configure based on the required configuration. And coming back to the security, you can come up here saying that, hey, I need the device must have a password, and the password complexity can be configured here. So you can say that it can be alphanumerical or just the numerical number. So at least numerical I'm configuring with the passcode as the 6 characters. So these are the common things that you have even with the Windows devices also, right? Similarly, here also you have some options. And these things are self-explanatory here. So if you want to block some of the applications from unknown sources, you can block it. So you can manage these. You can also check the integrity of your company portal application. You can block the US debugging options. I'm sorry, I can't do that because I also have to show the screen mirror during that time. This was needed for me. Okay, so security patches, all that configurations can be configured. So here few settings we have configured to consider as the compliance settings. These settings can be applied for your devices. So in my case, I'm actually applying for all the users whoever using any of the devices coming up as a bring your own device, it will be applicable. So one profile we have created. Okay, similarly, you can also create even for the corporate profile also. Same options will be available for your corporate. So let's have it do. Let's have it quickly. One configuration profile, very similar settings you have here. So I'm just giving here minimum 8.0. Security is required a passcode. I'm also giving here 6 characters, minimum length. So these things are just trying to create for my corporate devices also if a user is enrolling as a corporate user. So two profiles have created. I didn't demote how this is going to apply, but when we jump into the demo purpose, these if the user coming from personal device, it would be applying this enrollment profile or the profile that measures the compliance. For corporate devices, this. Similarly, you can also do the profile configuration, like setting the compliance again, DA or enterprise. In this case, enterprise only we will be. So you have very similar to the, if you remember, the screen is almost similar that you have with the Windows, Windows configuration profile. Right? Similar configurations, you can do it. But if you can, closely locate here, we have taken as Android Enterprise, and later point here it is for corporate, and this profile for personal, meaning under corporate you have these settings like a certificates or trusted certificate, VPN, all these. And similarly, if I just remove this, yeah, so similar settings you also have here. Okay, so these are the additional settings that can be applied automatically on the devices. So let's go to the corporate device restrictions. You can put some kind of device restriction settings. So if you can, recall again for the Windows, similar view we have for the device restrictions. Similar settings like a power device settings, all these top level things. So here you can apply screen capture, you wanna stop it, all these settings are available. device password. You can see the required password type is, I'm setting a normal thing here, again as a 6 characters. Personal profile also can be blocked with respect to the camera or screen capture, all of these things. Okay, this is for your corporate and corporate profile. So similarly, I'm also doing one more for the personal devices. So I'm just taking again device restrictions. I can apply here, minimum passcode is 6. I'm not blocking any other settings, just going with the default things. Okay, now what we have done so far is we have almost configured personal device specific as well as the corporate device specific profile, as well as the compliance policies, and especially the configuration profiles and compliance policies is configured for these two things, uh, two categories. Now let's also have a look on the applications. Just try to configure one or two applications, and then we'll jump into the demo. So for the application side, click on add. So these are the applications. If you just here type, if you can little bit more, these all are managed Google Play Store applications. Right now you can actually click on add button to get the some other applications. So here in the app type is, we are trying to get the applications that are we are purchasing from managed Google Play Store. When you say managed Google Play Store, meaning you have already linked up an account from a company point of view, which we have done already, and there you're actually purchasing or you're approving the free applications or corporate paid applications from a managed Google Play Store, and that applications will be uh, can be pushed to our end users. Okay, that's the goal. So for the Android store, it's just the direct URL. If you remember, we also have done for the Microsoft Store application, some application we have demoed. Similarly, the URL needs to be pasted. So for now, let's go to the Manage Google Play Store. Just click on that Manage Google Play. Yeah, click on that. Now select it. Now what happens is, as soon as you do this, it actually opens your Google Play Store uh, within this window. You see, this is a Google Play Store, so you can search the applications that you want to approve. So in this case, I wanted to approve for my MS Office example. I can do that, MS Office, right? So you can search for Outlook, Word, all of that applications, whatever you want. Okay, take any of the application. This is a complete suite, actually, that is. Yeah, so it consists of Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Click on approve. So you are approving this application. So wait a second here. If you just scroll down, what it says is, as you know, any application, before we install on your device, it also needs some access like contacts or microphone or maybe your storage. So these are the privacy consent things. So if you're sure that this application you're allowing to access the media, photos, or contacts, meaning in case if this application has a bug, they can theft this information also, definitely, right? So you should be careful. The application, definitely your whatever you're approving is the business case applications. So you can simply approve it. Once you click on approve, it will ask, hey, let's say you have an application as this Microsoft Office application. Tomorrow, uh, today this version is 1. Tomorrow, if the version 1.1 comes, do you want to reapprove or revoke all the permissions that you just granted? Yeah, So it's gonna come up and say, hey, you approved an version 1. Now, do you want to know when the application is, wait a second, it will come up automatically. So it says that uh, you approved it, but let's say tomorrow the application has been updated within version 2, example, or version 1.1. So do you want to revoke all the permissions that you have granted, or do you want to keep it? Meaning the you end user no need to worry about it. So normally we would choose as a keep approved. Uh, that's a default radio button. Have, what we will be taking. So click on done. So now this application is approved. Okay, if you see the tick mark here, it's showing as the approved. So if you just go again search some other applications, you can go ahead and search it. So like that, you can put some other applications also, 2-3 applications, please. Seeing again, it would be the similar thing. It's going to happen. Once we have approved few of the application, just click on sync. So what would happen is, if you just scroll down completely, what happens is, as soon as you click on sync, it will start importing. Another way, it just goes to the store and it will import which are coming default as a managed Google Play Store. Okay, now as soon as you sync up, it will come up here and it will be in a unassigned state as no, meaning it will show as a no. Okay, so you can click on assign, sorry, then later point, you have to go to each application and assign to your specific users. Yeah, if you see, there is a this one, it says a managed play sync in progress. As soon as you refresh, it actually comes up. In my case, so I have already approved earlier few of the applications. That's why most of them are already available here. Okay, and all I have done is actually managed from here. You can go ahead and search the applications that you wanted and then sync up. Okay, this is some kind of Cisco VPN. If it is already approved, it will show as approved. If you have not approved any of them, for example PowerPoint, in case, you can simply approve it. So this way it gets the this is a privacy concern, which will allow the access to the device on those criteria. This is there with any application to work properly. And then the updates also, you can approve it. Okay, so I'll just give here example, Chris at okay, give me a second. Then so now you can sync up and then that applications will come up here. It's still in a progress. Yeah, it's done. So here you can assign the required applications. So let's actually apply some of the applications like Microsoft Outlook. You go here and say assign. So this is one is required. So I'm just assigning for all devices. Similarly, I'm gonna make some other applications also, like in this case PowerPoint or Microsoft Teams. Teams also I'm making as a mandatory, but not the PowerPoint. So let's first go with the Teams. Now PowerPoint. So I'll just make this as the available with the here available to enroll device. This is for without, meaning it's just for the registered devices. So all users, say, so read the app information. We don't have any other information. Okay, that's fine. So this has been assigned. Okay, in my hand I have a phone, Android phone. Okay, I'm just trying to move left and right. The same thing is coming on my screen. There's no magic that I have done. Okay, so it's just a screen mirror application. So this is I created some on this device. This is my personal device. So I have already my Gmails. Okay, my Gmail is configured. All of that stuff is going on. Now my company told that I must have to use company portal application to get a company specific applications. Okay, so there's only one folder, which is this one, right? The Google. There's no other folders here. And so I'll just go to my Play Store. Where is this Play Store? This Play Store is from your personal device, right? Personal device using some account, right? So you need to have here an account also. Then only the Google Play Store can install any application, which is a normal case. So here you can search for something called company portal. Okay. So if you search for the company portal, you get this application. Simply click on install. I forgot Mr. Chris passwords. So it's just installing. So what happens is this is the same UI that you will have on Android devices as well as on a iOS devices once it gets installed. So in this case, we just search for the company portal and it's trying to install. Know if it's connected. Yeah, it's connected. It got installed. So any application, if it is installed, definitely it will come somewhere in the applications list, or maybe it's someone on the screen. So you can see here, this is just showing as a notification that it just got installed. So I'll just open up this, and here I need to enter my user ID and the password. Okay, so this time also I'm going to use Chris only account. So let's type as Chris @.
Sorry, I would like to end here, and I would like to continue from the next lecture, which is the part 4, where we are going to talk about other deployment options also within the Android devices enrollment options, and we will be catching there. So if you don't have the link, please check out the description for the part 4. Thank you.